The notification chimed, a bright, ethereal sound that cut through the dull hum of my Tuesday afternoon. Future Sight. Your destiny revealed. It was the app everyone was talking about, a digital oracle promising glimpses into the years, even decades, ahead. Initially, I dismissed it as another fleeting social media fad, like those bizarre filters that made your dog wear a tiny hat. But the sheer ubiquity of it, the endless chatter on my feed, chipped away at my skepticism. Curiosity, that ever-present siren, finally won. Installation was simple. A few taps, a quick agreement to terms I barely skimmed, and then the prompt. Enter your birth date and location to unlock your destiny. I obliged, my fingers flying across the keyboard. The app word, a simulated galaxy of stars swirling on my screen, before settling on a single, stark message. Tomorrow, 3:17 p.m. A minor inconvenience. Bring an umbrella. Severity. Low. A minor inconvenience? Tomorrow at 3:17 p.m.? I chuckled. What a ridiculous premise. Still, I squirreled away the message, a peculiar little secret. The next day, precisely at 3:17 p.m., as I was leaving work, a sudden, unforecasted downpour erupted. I'd forgotten my umbrella, and the minor inconvenience was getting thoroughly soaked on my walk to the train station. It was a bizarre coincidence, nothing more, but it planted a seed of unease. Future Sight became my guilty pleasure. The predictions were vague, often mundane. A pleasant conversation with a stranger, a forgotten item will be found, enjoy a moment of quiet reflection. They were like fortune cookie platitudes, easily dismissed or, if you squinted hard enough, made to fit. Then the messages started to shift. Friday, 9:42 p.m., a near miss. Keep your eyes on the road. Severity. Moderate. Friday night. I was planning on meeting friends for drinks. The message gnawed at me throughout the day. As I navigated through the city streets, my senses were on high alert. At exactly 9:42 p.m., a reckless driver blew through a red light, narrowly missing my passenger side door. My heart hammered against my ribs. It wasn't a near miss, it was a direct miss, a cosmic nudge that had saved my life. The low and moderate severity seemed entirely subjective, a terrifying understatement. The app was no longer a game. It was a prophecy, and I was its unwilling audience. The messages grew more frequent, more specific, and more alarming. Monday, 7:05 a.m. A regrettable decision. Consider alternate routes. Severity. High. Monday morning. My usual commute involved a particular stretch of highway. The message amplified every flicker of anxiety. I called in sick. Later that day, the news reported a multi-car pileup on that exact highway, caused by a fallen overpass. The regrettable decision would have been to drive. Panic began to coil in my stomach. This wasn't just predicting the future, it was dictating it. I tried deleting the app, but a nagging fear, what if deleting it meant I'd miss a crucial warning, kept me from doing so. I started obsessively checking my phone, my palms sweating every time a new notification pinged. The world felt like a preordained path, and I was merely following the breadcrumbs of my own doom. Wednesday, 11:51 a.m. A personal threat. Trust no one. Severity. Critical. Wednesday. The critical warning sent a wave of ice through my veins. Trust no one? My friends, my colleagues, my family, they were all potential threats? I barricaded myself in my apartment, refusing to answer the door, ignoring calls. The hours crawled by. At 11:51 a.m., my doorbell rang incessantly. I peered through the peephole. It was my neighbor, a kind old woman who often brought me cookies. Her face was contorted with fear. Behind her, a shadowy figure loomed. I didn't wait for the app to tell me what to do. I grabbed my keys, my purse, and bolted out the back fire escape, my heart a frantic drum against my ribs. I never looked back. I spent days in cheap motels, showering myself with the lingering scent of disinfectant, my mind a chaotic storm of what ifs. Future Sight was still there, its icon a mocking, all-seeing eye on my phone. I'd changed my number, avoided familiar places, but the dread remained. Then came the final, chilling message. Unknown time, your final breath. Seek solace. Severity. Absolute. Absolute. There was no explanation, no detail, just the grim finality. I stared at the words, the screen blurring through my tears. What was the point of trying to escape if the end was already written? I found myself drawn to a quiet park, the same one I used to visit with my grandmother as a child. The sun was setting, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. I sat on a bench, the cool metal pressing against my legs, and looked at my phone one last time. The notification was still there, a silent accusation. I closed my eyes and waited. The air grew still. A rustle in the leaves, a distant siren, the gentle cooing of pigeons. Then, nothing. Just the quiet fading of the day, and me, alone with the terrifying certainty that Future Sight had not just shown me my future, but had irrevocably sealed it. The app promised revelation, but it delivered only the crushing weight of inevitability. And as the last vestiges of light disappeared, I realized that knowing your future, when it's a future you cannot change, is not a gift.